We will now resume and return from our short recess here. So we will go ahead and continue where we left off, which was with public comment. And I see we have Mr. Sadiq here for public comment.
All right, I want to say good evening, everybody. Good evening, council, staff. Great job you guys continue to do. I agree with the previous speakers that also came in. Also, for everybody at home, we have an air show coming up this weekend, so get ready for the traffic, get ready for some good fun and a lot of noise out there. I also want to bring accounting to you guys is this. When Dave Marquez said that there have been crimes sitting on the dais, what troubled me was the fact that there was no investigation that was triggered. When government, to me, scarcely moves, it bothers me. So I put in a request, and I requested an investigation. I'm asking the city, what have they done in regards to his allegations? Basically, the response was, after a reasonable search for the requested records, the search yielded no responsive records. So when a person alleges crimes, the city basically does nothing. And as advised by then Riverside County, I did put in a request with the Riverside Sheriff's Department or the department down there to look into this, if anything is done. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But when a trustee of the people's funds makes an allegation, I would hope my city government would do everything in their power to see if those allegations are true. Now, recently, I got some information in regards to Mr. Marquez, and I believe you have to be a resident. It is alleged that you're not a resident of Moreno Valley. And I hope you will address this issue because there's a California voter's registration form with your name on it, with your date of birth, so we know it's not your son, and it says that you live in Marietta. If that is the case, Mr. Marquez, you are disqualified from sitting on that dais. It doesn't matter you have an apartment by the senior center. You're saying in a document that says, I declare under penalty of perjury, under the laws in the state of California, that the information from this form is true and correct. Now, this is alleged. I don't know if any of this is true or not, but I'm very sure Mr. Marquez will clear this up for us. Also, your Form 700, you've sold your house here, and you made a profit off it, and I don't understand why you didn't disclose it on your Form 700. So there's a lot of issues here that I hope you will address to the public. And this is what we mean by transparency, and this is what we mean by regular citizens coming up here and making sure you guys are doing your job properly and by the rules. Because I guarantee you, if that was me or anybody else out here, we would either be charged with a crime, a felony, or a fine or whatever. Do your job, do it well, and please address these allegations.
The next three speakers are Daryl Terrell, Brandon Karn, and Genevieve Alleman.
Oh, y'all saw my time. And severe code violations or neglect that require to be vacated to allow for repairs to take place by the landlords. Our residents who have to go through this has forced to relocate and experience financial hardships. Under California Health and Safety Code, Section 17975, it states property owners have to pay relocation benefits under certain conditions if tenants are ordered to leave their home due to extensive code violation that endanger their health and safety. However, landlords are supposed to pay those costs, but some don't pay it for it in a timely way or refuse to pay it at all. Mr. Mayor and City Council, we as a city could do something about it. We could hold these landlords accountable. Under California Health and Safety Code, Section 17975.5, authorize the city to adopt an ordinance that allows the city at its sole discretion to advance relocation assistance to tenants where the property owner or designated agent fails to neglect or refuses to pay relocation benefits to displaced tenants. Currently, there's no municipal code that address tenant relocation assistance. I believe firmly that the people shouldn't have to risk their lives to have a roof over their heads. I'm placing in the public record a draft ordinance that would provide tenant relocation assistance in situations where the property owner refuses to compensate renters who are forced to move because of code violation. Under this proposed ordinance, residents would be entitled to up to $10,000 for relocation. The city may opt to make payments of such relocation benefits as necessary to help the displaced tenant relocate up to amount payable by the property owner. Also, the city will be able to recoup the taxpayers' money spent to help our residents if a landlord fails to neglect or refuses to pay relocation benefits as a penalty. What I'm saying to you, there's a lot of folks, not all landlords are like that. Don't pay the brush with it. But there's folks that live in slums that are roach infested, some things that ain't caused on their own. And what this ordinance does, it holds the tenants accountable for the things they do. But the landlord, they neglect the property, and these people have to live with the risk of something happening to them. So this ordinance is to hope to hold these people accountable, and we, at the state of California, says we can adopt one. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Brandon Karn, Genevieve Alleman, and Jesse Alleman.
Okay. First thing I want to do is I want to plug a now local muralist, Rosie Cortez, who has just completed a large mural at the Moreno Valley College campus. I would like to welcome or invite the public to go out and take a look at it. I was able to do some of the volunteering on it and take a look at completion of it. I invited the city council. Only Ulysses Cabrera, as far as I understand, has been there presently and helped with a little bit of it. I know Ed Delgado said he would go at some point too before it's completed. It will be finished this week is my understanding. So I'm just reiterating my call to the rest of the council to attend and go see that project. I'm also very proud to say for the first time in our community's history, we have a privately funded art walk that was a raging success a week and a half ago. There were almost 50 vendors at a private event that was held in Alessandro in Indian at a tattoo shop there. I'll forget the name, but I think Genevieve will remind you. And that's something we intend to do monthly. It will be, I believe it can now be sizable that it will rival events in Riverside, Redlands, and in other parts of the county. Moreno Valley will have a private, thriving arts community, and that will be part of it. One thing I am concerned about, though, is several months ago, the council anonymously adopted the ordinance to give the Arts Commission the project of creating an ordinance so that you have at least the basics in order to accept funding, find grants, and other things like that. The Arts Commission has supposed to have had 2 meetings in the last 2 months. They have not met, as far as I understand. 2 months ago, the staff was tasked with creating a report studying this topic to present to the Arts Commission, which would later be presented to the City Council. They were hoping by June before you go on recess. Most of us that were involved in that meeting and are interested in encouraging the arts in the community think that is way too long. And I was disappointed at the last study session because it was only an hour. But the one prior to that, it addressed the homeless issue, which I also hope comes up again, and other topics. Could have very easily had 4 or 5 items. This staff report, I believe if it's completed, I would imagine this at this time it is, could be heard by the City Council. You can override the Arts Commission, which you really should. In my opinion, you really should do that. Hear the item yourselves as this body. Maybe if you need a few different ones, because I know the homeless issue is going to take a few. And then at a regular meeting, draft the ordinance and adopt it. The Arts Commission has done some work in the community, but they do not meet regularly because the volunteers do not come to the meetings. Most of the time of the year, they do not have quorum. I think it's time for the City Council to step in, take this item itself, and adopt it well before the summer, because it's not as complex as, say, the ordinance that you did last time, or one of the last meetings with the mayor's responsibilities. This is something that could be done very quickly, very rapidly, and we have given many of you information on models you can follow about it. Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Genevieve Alleman, Jesse Alleman, and George Haig.
Hello, City Council. Hello, Mayor Cabrera. Nice to see you guys all doing well, healthy, and present today. I just want to stand here and thank you all for your hard work and determination of making Moreno Valley a better place. It's been a beautiful spring. The month April has been extremely busy, and it's great seeing Moreno Valley host events for the community. From Spring Tasket event to this Easter egg hunt where adults were out there running around in the dark, it's great to see things for us to attend and bring the family with. Thank you for that. April 7th, I hosted an art walk here in Moreno Valley. We had bands, live painters, artists, and it was a beautiful night. So many people were thanking me for the opportunity to display art in their artwork in their own city, to feel valued in their community. I want to continue to host these art walks with the help of the city, just how Riverside does. I'm currently getting my business license so I can coordinate these events and to continue to do this for my community. I'm here to give everyone 2 opportunities this week to support Moreno Valley local artists. These past few months, I have been working alongside Palm Middle School off of Ironwood to help put together an art festival. April, if you do not know, is Autism Awareness Month, and we will be highlighting our Spectrum creatives. We opened the art gallery to the entire Moreno Valley district, and almost every single school from elementary to high school are participating. I ask you all, if you can, please come see how creative our youth is. It brought tears to my eyes today hanging up artwork. It made me feel so proud of these younglings, and I want to continue to find ways to encourage their creativity. Please, Moreno Valley, show up for our youth tomorrow, make them feel special, and come see how much love art brings to our community. There will be performers, a DJ, thank you, Dad, food, a car show, and a whole lot of art. A family-friendly event that everyone can have fun at. I want to thank Ulysses Cabrera for responding back to our email and helping sponsor this event. The school was working with extremely low funds on this event, and the donation you made went a long way, and we truly appreciate your kindness. This Saturday, my father will have his first art gallery in downtown Riverside on Earth Day. He does living plant art, and it couldn't have been a better day for him to display his work. It's actually displayed right there in the chamber. If you guys have gotten the chance to see it, please do. Please come out and show your support for Moreno Valley artist putting himself out there. It's scary and it's not easy to do. So please, the most simple way of showing you care is simply by showing up. This is where it starts for our community, is by having ways to come together and have fun. Let's lighten up the room a bit. Not everything has to be so harsh and negative, and we don't always have to be so against each other. Learn to listen, learn to laugh, learn to love each other, and let's do this the right way. I came across an Inland Empire Creative Corps grant that I emailed over to Mayor Ulysses Cabrera. He said he would have his staff apply and reach out to me when they can. I have not received any contact. Please allow me to work with you guys when applying for this grant. I believe I have a great perspective when it comes to bringing our creatives together. Please include me in this application. Allow me to have my input and help me win this. Let me help you win this money for our city. All I'm asking is to be involved. Thank you guys so much, and I hope everyone's having a blessed day.
The next 3 speakers are Jesse Alleman, George Haig, and David Zeitz.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Mr. Mayor, Council, and the staff of Moreno Valley. Today I'm just here to, well, one thing I'm going to invite you guys for Saturday. My name is Jesse Alleman. I go by Jesse Monstera now. I did concrete construction carpenter for over 25 years. One thing, too, I want a big shout out to the carpenters, union carpenters that are here today representing, man. That's awesome. I've worked alongside of them for many years, and I've seen them. They teach the youth like the right way and how to do things, and it's awesome to see them here in Moreno Valley. And as you can see, it's a big team. I started doing plants. I got involved with plants. It's really big health benefits, and I like to see a lot more activities, especially with Earth Day. You guys are doing Earth Day, so that's awesome. I also want to thank you, Moreno Valley, for having the opportunity to show my art here. I did the loan program, and I'm actually showing my art here at the chamber. I'm also going to be working with the demonstration garden pretty soon. But again, I just want to invite you guys to the 22nd and also to the autism. And then on some issues is I like to see Sunny Mead Boulevard looking a little better. I'm not sure what's going on there. You guys think that we go bar hopping or something with all the dispensaries that are going on. I think someone just goes to one spot, calls it good. Like they used to be on Back Street. Now they're just everywhere. I think it's one of those things that, you know, they say that it's that gateway drug, but if you're making it easy for all these kids to just see it all the time, that means they're going to go and do harder stuff, you know? So that's kind of sucks on that one. But I like to see more like, gyms, exercise, some, I'm chubby, but maybe I'm chubby because you guys don't have nothing. And see yoga rooms, something, more positive, man. You guys, car washes. You got the carpenters here. I bet you they wash their own car. I don't think they go to the car washes. These are hard construction workers. But again, I'm just here represent Moreno Valley. I try to be positive. And just, help you guys come on Saturday. It's a big event for me. I've just been working on it. And art just kind of it targets everybody. It's not just one ethnicity. It targets so many people, especially with your Festival of the Arts. We did so well. I was a part of that, and it was a type of vibe that was just beautiful. And I'd like to see just a lot more of those activities in Moreno Valley. So thank you, guys.
And Jesse, where is that event?
I'm going to be at the Blue Rose Gallery. It's on Orange Street and University, and I'm also at the Riverside Art Museum right now. I have a exhibit till June, so if you guys are all welcome to come there too. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next three speakers are George Haig, David Zeitz, and Dr. Patsy Brown.
Good evening, George Haig. Ideally, you would have chairs outside instead of people standing staring at the monitor, and somebody can direct that. It would be good. And maybe speaker slips out there also. The World Logistics Center is poised to build more than 30 mega warehouses of over 1 million square feet each. They're breaking ground this year with a combined total of 13,000 daily diesel truck trips added to State Route 60 and our local streets. We do not need to add any more warehouses, especially those near people's homes where diesel pollution impacts their families' health 24/7, 365 nights and days a year. The World Logistics Center will supply construction jobs and warehouse jobs for many years to come. It is time for all of you. Let me first say thanks to you, council members who have voted no on warehousing that are near people's homes. It is time for all of us to stop encouraging developers to offer the city money and benefits that have almost nothing to do with the warehouse in order to win your vote. The Compass Danby Centerpoint Warehouse promised you $1 million for the Moreno Valley Community Foundation, which has the 5 of you as its board members. The warehouse was approved across the street from charter schools, apartments, homes, impacting students and children and families. If the Sierra Club files a lawsuit, it costs us money. We don't make money on those. And we cannot move the project. We can try to make it better, but we can't move the massive warehouse. So even though we litigate and settle and we do make it better, the pollution is still there in the area. It is time to increase the 250 feet you believe is the only distance needed between a warehouse diesel truck docks and sensitive receptors like family homes. 250 feet was a political decision to allow more warehouses in Moreno Valley and not based on any science. It also doesn't account for diesel truck aisles and turnaround in areas in front of the docks, which are usually much closer than 250 feet. I was an AFL-CIO member for more than 40 years and find it sad that we have unions pushing for warehousing near homes that impact the health of children, elderly, and families 24/7, 365 days and nights a year for more than 25 years or the life of the cement building in exchange for less than a year's work. I hope unions and their members will take a stand against warehousing near homes as if their families and children lived in them, and their time would be better spent continuing to help the youth, join unions, and also organizing warehouse workers. I hope you will make this thought or some of my thoughts percolate through your mind, along with several other excellent comments that were made to you tonight about warehousing and their impact.
Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are David Zeitz, Dr. Patsy Brown, and Dr. James Owens.
Good evening. In a past meeting, someone asked the question, why don't we have projects in front of our council? They were blaming the council. I'm glad they did. Our council, thank you very much. I think it is because our council is not in bed with these developers. They don't need their money to get reelected. They don't make promises to keep their seats. They're not obligated to them. They're not a pushover. We need to stick with our general plan. And also, when the projects come in front of the city council or the planning commission, it's because they want changes. They want zone changes. They want building changes. They want different buildings put in from what we have all worked could get this city designed to be. But they want to come in and change it. That's the reason why they come in front of the dais. I do believe that our city council will do the right thing, stick with our planning, our general plan, stand up for our citizens, and tell the developers there's plenty of places to put what you want. Let's quit changing our zoning and our lands for the developers, and let's keep it for the citizens. Also, developers that come in and offer, I'll call them straight up what they are, bribes. Why can't their projects stand on their own? If they were good projects, put in the right spots, making sure they meet all the regulations that need to be met, they shouldn't need the bribes to go with. If we are going to add added fees for parks and recs or any other public thing, it should be for all of them, not the ones that offer the most. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Dr. Patsy Brown, Dr. James Owen, and Francis Venegas. Good evening. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and General Council persons. I just want to report that at the last meeting, I did speak and say that I didn't get a meeting, and those meetings were conducted, and I thank you so much for considering my concerns. I have several on tonight. I'm going to speak as fast as I can. One thing that was sunsetted was the safety committee that was in the wake of George Floyd being murdered, and we as part of the nationwide thrust to eradicate racism throughout our country, we developed a committee, called it a safety committee, sunsetted June of last year. I'm asking for the council to put it back on the agenda and reinitiate that council. The other thing I want to talk about is the Home Key grant monies available to cities in California for homelessness. It is non-discretional money that I want the council to put back on the agenda to vote on. That is just by application only. And we, as you have heard, my previous, everyone almost that spoke before me talked about the homeless situation. There's money available for us to address that without impacting our current budget, and I plead with the council and the mayor to put that back on the agenda and vote for the Home Key money. Not only that, but we as CWC, which I'm the chairperson of the citywide coalition, we want to partner with the city to give a voice to equitability so that when that money does come, that it is equitable, dispersed among the nonprofits which we represent in the city of Moreno Valley. Also, I want to talk about the blatant discrimination against churches in the city of Moreno Valley. I currently know 10 churches that are unable to find locations to hold services. I want to remind the council of our First Amendment rights to have a peaceable assembly and a freedom to practice our faith. But there's also a civil rights code from the United States Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, and I believe that our civil rights are being violated. I'm asking the city to look into that not allow these retailers or these people that own commercial property to blatantly discriminate against churches. Churches are the backbone of the community, and we also help to eliminate crime, and I also want us to be reevaluated as a community service organization, so that will help us not be discriminated against as we do a great work in this community, and I stand to say that. Thank you very much.
The next three speakers are Dr. James Owen, Francis Venegas, and Laura Ross Jackson.
Good evening, Mayor Cabrera and the City Council. So good to be here and so good to see you all doing a great work. I want to give applause to the Southwest gentlemen, the organization that is doing a great work here in the Inland Empire. Thanks for what you're doing. I just want to bring a reference to, I'm also a part of the Citywide Coalition, and being a former pastor here in the city of Moreno Valley in the early years of 2012, 2016, seen a lot of changes, and there's a lot of positivity in this city. First of all, I want to say that. And it's the churches here, the religious organizations partnering with the governments that be. It's important that we partner. They're strict in partnering. And I just want to encourage us here in Moreno Valley to partner with one another to help assist these local churches that need help. I too work with pastors that are here, and they are seriously looking for locations to expand their congregation, and it's just really tough. And so I would ask that we assist local pastors here that are looking to expand their church, looking for real estate, religious organizations that need help in that area, that we would help pastors do so. Also supporting to apply for the California Home Key Grant. This does not take away from the monies that is already allocated here. It's just a matter of applying for that grant, and I think it would help a lot of the needs that we have in the city, such as the joblessness, the homelessness, and the poverty that is here. So we are here to serve. We're here to partner with you, Mayor Cabrera, and the City Council to make a huge difference in the city of Moreno Valley. Thank you all for the services you all are providing. We ask that you would assist us in these two issues. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Francis Venegas, Laura Ross Jackson, and Christopher Baca.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just again, I wanted to urge urge you guys to agree to apply for the home key money. It's not only going to help with the homeless issue, but it's also going to help with, a lot of the churches that are around that are also helping homeless and the families, that are struggling right now. Because, a lot of people are having a hard time just, coming out of the pandemic and everything. And also wanted to ask, again, if we could classify the churches as a, community organization instead of being grouped with the bars and the dispensaries and stuff, so that way we're not discriminated against. The church is not only the backbone of the community, it's roots, and without roots, a tree can't live. And so I don't know about anybody else, but I need my roots. And so there's also a lot of these churches that can't find buildings, that are the ones that are out there every day doing the work, trying to help the homeless, trying to help the families that are less fortunate. And so if we can do these things and get these things done, then we can. Moreno Valley is already great, but we can definitely make it better. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Laura Ross Jackson, Christopher Baca, and Tom Gerald Sr.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm going to be kind of reading a little bit. This is my first time, so bear with my nervousness. But I am here to represent, and I want to say good evening to the General Council person and the Mayor as well. My name is Laura Ross Jackson, and I am a realtor investor in the city of Moreno Valley. And I'm also a member of the CWC. Also, I like to urge the city to code the churches under the Civil Code of Community Services Organization to further protect their rights to lease and occupy facilities within the Moreno Valley property lines. I experience as a realtor going out trying to help churches to find locations and I've been told to, no churches, whatever, something else they could use there, but they did not want any churches. And so I find that ironic because churches are the backbone of a city. They do help. They feed the homeless. They clothe the homeless. You have lines where, where people go and get food from a lot of churches. And not to mention just the ministry itself, to get them off the streets, to rehabilitate. And you have some churches that's what they do. They work for a rehabilitation for criminals coming out of the system, and they can't find anywhere to have their services. And so I know this firsthand. I've gone through the neighborhood, looked on my services, called places, and the first thing they'll say with a recording, no churches. So I urge you for the city to protect the First Amendment rights of the churches to freely practice religion and to peaceably assemble. Thank you. Have a great evening.
The next three speakers are Christopher Baca, Tom Gerald Sr., and Pete Bleckard.
Good evening, Council. I just wanted to point out some of the comments that were made regarding, relevant to Google educated know-it-alls. I think last meeting they were mentioned Mayor Cabrera shouldn't vote for that K-9 resolution because he had received funds from Corey Jackson, but that's just not the case because it has nothing to do with money. And for instance, if Mr. Marquez would have gotten developer money, 2 years ago, it would be relevant to the new law that took effect January 1st. So just to keep that in mind, there's already people that are already distorting things and, coming up with, for instance, I just heard environmentalists bringing out the race card with a community's sensitive receptor locations. The location we're going to be discussing has nothing to do with communities low income and communities of color. They also mentioned balances. That's a good balance. And I also wanted to point out, in case somebody mentioned the general plan, and I just want to quote what it says here. A general plan amendment is considered to be any change to the general plan map or text. State law provides that each mandatory general plan element may be amended no more than 4 times per year. So you can amend anything on the general plan 4 times a year. So that's state law. There's nothing wrong with amendments. You have up to 4 a year to do so. Also, I don't know, people mentioned something about Sunnymead Boulevard. Yes, we need to improve Sunnymead Boulevard, but as far as the dispensaries are concerned, I only know of 2. Maybe 1 is too much for people, but there's only 2 dispensaries on Sunnymead as far as I know. But anyhow, just want to point out, we're going to be hearing a lot of, how would I put it? I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Tom Gerald Sr., Pete Bleckard, and Luis Palomares.
Tom Gerald Sr., speaking on behalf of myself, Mayor Cabrera, Mayor Pro Tem Delgado, council members, members of staff, and the public. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And before I start, I just want to thank a lot of courteous people. Several people offered me their chair, and it's a packed house tonight, and so I appreciate those who are so thoughtful. And I try not to be, should I say, assumptive about anything, and but I thank him. So, and there's a lot of courteous people. I see it so often in Moreno Valley. I mean, it's one of our calling cards. I think how many people offer me to open the door, pull some, help me with something. So it's a good card. So I'm proud of that in our city. One thing I want to talk about my main item. The state is about to, or they may have approved already. It's and Ed, you may know the issue. It's about catalytic converters, and if you want to take them in and get money for them, you got to show where you got it. And so it wasn't a heist because that's very prolific. And there's another industrial component that's being stolen frequently. And I just had one of my tenants, not at our center, but in Riverside. It's the electrical components on the outside of commercial buildings, which are frequently older, and that's why they steal them, because they're hard to get. Case in point, the ones that were stolen from his building yesterday in his restaurant in Riverside, he can't get for a month. He's shut down. And the landlord won't put a new panel in, so all his food's going away. So it's a pitiful, pitiful thing. And it's a fire hazard. You know, I mean, it could start a fire. They're lucky some of these idiots haven't been knocked on their tail and killed. I mean, maybe they have some places. So I think that's something we should address our state people to take a look at about where did you get this? Much similar, use that other bill as a pattern. Now, tonight obviously looks like we're going to have a very spirited and lively public hearing, and which I affirm. And, you know, in 3 months, we're going to celebrate less than 3 months, we're going to celebrate the birthday of this country. And I was just thinking, and I just thought of it as I walked in and saw the big crowd, what a beautiful thing that is, whether you're for or against. You know, we have, because of that flag, because 230 plus years ago, a group of ladies and gentlemen sat down and said, you know, we can make this better. And in reality, they were of all, you know, backgrounds and races, and it's a beautiful thing. So bottom line, celebrate democracy. I affirm everybody's right to speak, whether how they feel about an issue, and that's a beautiful thing. And we should treasure that. Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Pete Bleckert, Louise Palomares, and Roy Bleckert.
Good evening. I support all the canines, and I hope they get more. I would like to tell you, when I was in grade school, President Truman was elected, so that gives you time how long I've been around. I would like to talk about these development, these warehouses, and probably the ones that are coming up. This is what my deal is Edgemont. Edgemont's always had a problem with the water. Now, if you wanted, only one other person wanted to see where we used to drink water when I was a kid, out of a reservoir there. That was where it came from after they pumped it out of the water. So if this new one comes in, and I'm supporting all warehouses, new and existing, and keep bringing them in, because if it wasn't for them warehouses, you wouldn't have all them nice, beautiful schools. If you want to go to the history book and see old Midland School, go look at, see what I had to go to school with. You guys are living in luxury. So we had perfect air conditioning. It was hot in the summer and damn cold in the winter. So I want to let you know. But anyway, we get this together, and we need to, if you support this, I think you should, and Roy will get it better than me, because he has all the numbers, he's a good number man, is so we can improve the water deal. I want to tell you, the whole thing, what happened there was when Fritz Duda came into here, he would not come into the city. You heard what I said, what he said. He would not come into the city, and after a year, all the Riverside Raceway property and everything north there from Pigeon Pass to Clark Street was all under the Duda Company. And they would not come in here until they got redevelopment. And their big story was they were going to fix the Edgemont Water District. They pilfered the money away with city councils on glorious, like pinky sidewalks and every other damn thing. We had to have a big old park out there called the Horse Park. $2.5 million, I bet you, if you figure all the money was spent on it. And Edgemont got cheated out of it. Victoria, I worked with her. She tried to get it, but by the time it was there, redevelopment was over. And she said, yes, we could have got the money, but it's over, done. Now's the time for this council, if you're going to pass anything, any warehouse, I don't care what it is, try to get some of the development money over to the water company. Because it takes almost 2 years. If you could get the money today and get a bonding issue, it takes you 2 years just to get a plan on to get it started, you know. So you really need to work on that. I don't know if you can, you know, it can be done. You're in control of the money. You guys control the purse. So Edgemont is never going to develop until you fix the water system. And trying to piecemeal it like you just done in the last 2, which I'm glad it got done, it still ain't going to get any better. Get more warehouses and try and get us some damn money over there and fix the town up correctly.
The next 3 speakers are Louise Palomares, Roy Bleckert, and Bob Palomares.
Louise Palomares, community activist. Wow, we got the spin doctors here today talking about how bad this project's going to be. When it's going to give us lots and lots and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Wow, it's a great project. I have so many My daughters live out there. I got grandkids that live right there by the project where they're gonna build it. We need this. They're gonna bring a sports arena, I believe. I read they're gonna bring all of that, and the money. And as far as the arts, the two speakers that came and talked about the arts, maybe we could use some of this money to really get that up and running. Not only that, the debt fees are gonna be great. So this is a win-win situation for the city, and you got speakers coming up here and, diluting and lying about, they don't got the real facts. I don't believe they got I call them spin doctors. As far as, like I said, I got about 40 members out there, family members, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, great-granddaughters, the granddaughter, all of it. And they live right there by that project. Solari's Papers, Aldi's, Pro Lodges, they live right there. And they could say, Mom, well, wait a minute. I go, this is going to bring money to our community. Let's bring it. It's a win-win situation. I support the project, and I hope we can do the right thing for the people, not for the handful, the people, the community. We need this revenue. We need this tax dollars. It's a good project. I hope it comes. And as far as they're worrying about the building, it's one more building. That's it. That's all you can put there. Unless we're going to put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of apartments there. Because what else could you put there?
Ms. Palomares, we will also have public comment for F2 as well.
I know
for
that.
the specific project.
Thank you. I know that, but I'm saying it right now also because I might not have enough time then. So you saying all that, now I lost my train of thinking here. Saying all that, I support the project, and like I said, it's going to bring good things to the community, the revenue, and I'm saying it again, and I can't talk enough about it. So thank you, and I guess I lost my train of thinking, but I guess it'll come back to me. Thank you.
The next two speakers are Roy Bleckert and Bob Palomares.
You will have to wait till F2 comes up to hear my effervescent comments on the project du jour of the day, but I wanted to say this. K9 Rudy gave his life, protecting us, protecting our deputies, making our community safer. K9 hater Corey Jackson, his political partners in crime, Ulysses Cabrera and David Marquez, would like to eliminate this. Go look at the rules and procedures, Mr. Marquez, about abstention votes and what it says in there about them. You're trying to make this community safe. It's a no-brainer. You know what? Because of Rudy, we're probably not having our third funeral procession that we've had in this county that was too many. You're making this community unsafe. It really pains me that my native area has elected a K9 hater, Corey Jackson, to represent us and put this legislation in front of us and make the commitment to try and make this community unsafe. You work on this every day. We try to do this. We have DAs coming down from up north, joining our sheriff DA and police chief of Riverside saying your community is unsafe. Don't believe the statistics. That was Sheriff Chad. Crime is on the rise. It's time we're honest about this stuff. No, these are not conspiracy theories. When you see evidence put in front of you, that is not a conspiracy theory. Consequences. If consequences do not put punishment, you're going to get more. Look at the Meg Oliver report from CBS at Redland School of the abuse of our kids, on top of that and everything else that's going on, and what went on right here in this city that is still outstanding. I want to hear Ulysses Cabrera and David Marquez swear under oath what they've been saying. And then let's go from there with the evidence. You five have the power to put that in front. You have the power to open up the closed session. You have the power to waive the attorney-client privilege. You talk about transparency, you talk about United, you talk about you don't want to deal with this stuff, then let's open it up, let's see where the evidence goes, and let's go from there. You want to heal this community, you want to make it better, then let's all start working together to do it. Because if we don't, it's going to be the same as we've had, and even worse if we keep on the same path.
The final speaker is Bob Palomares.
Good evening. As always, I always like to salute police and fire chiefs. And I kind of want to piggyback on what Roy was saying about the canine that we lost. You know, last month he was in Las Vegas in the competition of canines with their handlers, and he took first place in the category of protecting his handler. But even more, he gave his life for that handler. You know, I was kind of remembering the lady that was here, I think the last council meeting, her husband was a canine handler. And she was saying about when they would come home, she would always go and talk to the canine, say thank you for bringing my husband home, protecting. And look at this officer got to go home, not with this canine, but he's home. And, you know, Corey Jackson, the loser, he also has a bill where he doesn't want law enforcement sharing photos of, I guess, criminals or whoever with social media. You know, so he don't want to warn anybody that this guy committed a crime. You know, don't put his picture out there. But we know who he is, so he's number one. And real quick, you know, I feel kind of bad for Shalinda because he has to listen to a lot of this stuff that comes up here. But Roy and Donovan Sadiq are correct, and you know, this stuff's not going to go away until it's taken care of. You know, Marquez, you bring all this garbage to our doorsteps, and it goes way back. It's not just, you know, I got the same information that Sadiq has. You know, you signed documents at the DMV stating your address. You signed voter registration documents saying where you live. You know, so this is all your own doing. Nobody's, you know, it's just amazing. And someone was mentioning about bribes and, you know, councilmen being on the take or something. Well, you remember, Marcus, when they wanted to build up there on JFK and I think it's Moreno Beach or Nason, when they wanted to put up the mini mart with the car wash, you escorted the developer, I think his name was Ali, out to the planning commission meeting, and then, but he backed out of the deal because there was too much opposition. And you said, check the money that I got, and you got $30,000 from him.
Madam Clerk, do we have any more public speakers?
No, that concludes all public comments on items not on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. So that will conclude public comments on non-agenda items. And at this time, I know traditionally we would move into joint consent calendars, but just out of respect for the folks that are here for public speaking on item F2, I'm going to propose that we move up item F2 on the agenda so that we can take that item now, and go into public hearing, and again, just to be respectful of everybody's time. So I'll make a motion at this time to move item F2 up in the agenda so that we can go ahead and hear that item now.